Hello again, Bookborn. For those of you that don't know, I'm Maegan Provan. I'm the author of the Night Touch Chronicles. I am doing another reading of Book 1, as you can tell from the title. This is an excerpt from Chapter 1, so it's not the whole thing. It's about 5 pages, so this should be roughly about as long as the last video. Maybe a little bit longer, but not by much. I'm going to try to keep these pretty short. But Celine agreed to let me do this reading really quickly before she got into all of her stuff. So, fixed my hair this time. If you caught the last video, I fixed it ahead of time. So, ha. But anyway, yeah. Please leave comments. Once I sign off, either Celine will answer them or I'll answer them. I'll do what I can to get to you. But yeah, here we go. This is Chapter 1 from Celine, the Night Touch Chronicles, Book 1. And again, this is only a few pages, so. Oh, and something you should know. This is also from Harper's point of view. So I'm going to be reading as her for this excerpt. I mean, obviously I'm not her, I'm me. But I'm going to be reading, this is her chapter. Okay. Even after all this time, I dreaded parties like these. The supposed upper class of the human race eyeing me, judging my every move. It was unnerving. I checked my brunette hair in the side mirror of the old Mercury Cougar before stepping back and joining the others. Lily Buchanan and Jason Howard, my oldest friends and companions, stood under the awning waiting for me. I cleared my throat and hurried over to them. Another night, another embarrassing display to keep up appearances. Part of the facade we'd created for our life in New York was that we were well off and attempted to be involved in a number of charitable organizations to share our vast wealth. It was a great way to make connections and allow us to live in the lap of luxury. We were far from philanthropists. I can talk. We were far from philanthropists, but I wanted us to try to do something to give back. We lived a long life up to that point, and there was no reason not to share what we could. Of course, the nice clothes and elegant parties were a great perk. The night's event was celebrating Misty Saunders' birthday. She was an heiress to some obscure fortune and thought that Lily was the most amazing person in existence. Her guests were encouraged to donate to some local children's hospital in lieu of gifts, and she made sure that the local gossip columns knew all about it. The Seventh Hotel The Seventh Hotel had donated the use of their rooftop lounge, the Heaven, to host the event. We hurried across the marble floor of the lobby and into an elevator. Jason quietly took Lily's hand in his and gently kissed her on the cheek. I looked away and bit my bottom lip. I wouldn't say that I was jealous that they belonged to each other, but I wanted my own person to spend eternity with. I didn't want to be a third wheel forever, but there wasn't anyone out there like me. Crossing my arms, I leaned against the wall of the elevator and watched as the numbers climbed. I owed a lot to Lily and Jason. They found me in an abandoned factory, scared, changed, and no memory of what had happened. The two of them taught me how to adapt to my new life and about what I had become. I was very grateful. I just wanted to be able to find my way in the world without them. The idea of being on my own was frightening and kept me from straying, but a nagging part of me knew that there was something big in my future. The elevator bell chimed as its doors opened at the top level, and we stepped out into the hall. We turned to the right, following the noise of the party. The doors to the bar were pushed open as a preemptive greeting to whomever was arriving next. The glitz and glamour of these parties were always a marvel in and of themselves. Misty was never to be outdone. She may have been the most stuck-up person I had ever met, but she certainly knew how to throw a party. The crystal table settings sparkled against tiny pre-lit branches neatly placed in clear glass bowls. People were spread out across the interior lounge, tucked away at tables and leaning against the bar. The bartender worked quickly to fill orders and keep his guests laughing. A large fishbowl at the edge of the bar was overflowing with tips, and the night was still young. Dan, Misty's younger brother, sat in one of the outward-facing booths with a few of his friends. His mop of red hair fell around his face as he studied the newspaper he was reading very closely. Their militaristic body language shot shivers down my spine every time we ran into them, but I couldn't exactly explain it if I turned and hightailed it away without raising a few eyebrows and questions. I cleared my throat and followed Lily and Jason over to his table. The men with Dan sat a bit straighter as we approached. It looks like they found another body in Black Heights. He frowned and folded his paper before he noticed us. It was like watching a switch flip to see the frown dissipate from his face and effortlessly, be replaced with a goofy grin. Hey, you guys, you made it! Like they'd missed one of the most anticipated events of the year. Misty walked up behind us and threw her arm over Lily's shoulder. With a quick sip of the decorated martini she held in her hand, she beamed at us. Hello, darlings. Happy birthday, dear. Lily turned slightly and kissed her on the cheek. The photographer that she had hired to document the evening came by us and snapped a few pictures. I tried to look happy about I can't read, I'm sorry. We talked about this. I tried to look happy about being there surrounded by these people, but I remained tense. While we could be photographed, the images never developed properly. With modern cameras, the images were either corrupted in the camera, or they could not manage to focus on us, leaving distorted images and fired photographers. Every time Misty tried to get a picture with us, the photographer failed to meet her expectations, and was always promptly fired. I felt a slight pinch on my arm and did my best to shake the tension. Smiling brightly, I leaned closer towards Misty. When the photographer was satisfied that he'd got a good shot, a waiter came by and asked us if we wanted something to drink. Jason ordered a scotch on the rocks, and Lily rambled off some fizzy, girly something or another. Even though the drinks would go unfinished, they always had to have something in their hand. Did you want anything, miss? The waiter turned to me. With a silent shake of my head, he turned and walked back to the bar so he could fill their orders. Okay. With a boisterous chuckle, Jason turned to Dan. So, did you catch the game? Oh, Lord, Misty rolled her eyes. Come on, girls, you've got to see the outdoor space on this place. She linked arms with Lily and led her out to an expansive open space, complete with fire pits and lush green vines creeping up the walls. I trailed quietly behind while they gabbed about some gossip that was floating around in their circles. Misty came to know me as the insecure cousin of her best friend, who was so incredibly shy that she couldn't have her own life. I never bothered to correct her. If it made sense to her, why question it? Across from us, a man in a dark suit leaned against the low wall, seeming to observe the traffic below. His dark blonde hair had clearly been well styled at the beginning of the party, but the wind had managed to mess it up. He took a drag of his cigarette and exhaled a long stream. A strange feeling crept up my back, like electricity was building around me, and I was about to get struck by lightning. Oh, good, Silas is still here. Harper, you've got to meet him. Misty's voice interrupted the moment. Silas, come here for a moment. I have someone I want to introduce you to. If you haven't guessed, Misty's a bitch. Just gonna point it out. Yeah, sorry, I hate her. I saw his shoulders sag with a sigh as he flicked the cigarette over the side of the building. He stood a bit straighter as he turned around. Blue eyes pierced my soul, and I couldn't find the right words to greet him. I could have sworn that I heard fireworks exploding overhead. It seems like they've hit it off. Lily's voice broke through my clouded thoughts and brought me back to reality. It sure does, Misty replied. I took a step back as he cleared his throat and brushed his hands against his pants. Silas Foster, I'd like for you to meet Lily Buchanan and Harper Kemp. Harper, Lily, this is Silas. Hi, he said hoarsely. Hi, I replied breathlessly. So that's all you get. That's all you get, guys. This is the last reading I'm doing. I may do one more, but as far as I'm concerned right now, this is the last reading you're getting. So go back, enjoy the events of the evening. Celine will be happy to entertain you. And thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know exactly when Celine will be out, but it should be out in the next couple weeks before I head to Iowa. So, yeah. Have a great evening, guys. Bye.